Big certificate, the vehicle registration certificate has been obtained.
出来了啊，只不过说呢，要晚几天寄给大家。
It will be sent to everyone a few days later due to safety concerns. This is the date, June 2025. These cars should all be from the same batch, right? Here, do you see?
看到了吗？总里程
Total mileage 6 kilometers.
6公里，能看到吧？
You see?
哎，看得见。好吧，6公里。
Okay, 6 kilometers, barely driven. These electric cars are clearly brand new, but through a series of procedures, they've all become used cars for sale. The so-called zero-kilometer used car are invented by the Chinese auto sales industry. Now, these cars are flooding out of China and reaching the world. In this video, we'll take a look at how these overpriced Chinese electric vehicles are making their way abroad. First, let's see why so many Chinese EVs are directly transformed from new cars into used cars. The reason is actually very simple: to sell them at a lower price. How cheap are zero-kilometer used cars? Let's take an example. The BYD Qin PLUS DM-i, a 79,800 yuan industrial miracle. According to the current official website discounts, the price can be reduced to 63,800 yuan. Okay, in the used car section of Bilibili, how cheap can this car be? More than 50,000 yuan. How does it come about? The list price is 79,800 yuan. They'll tell you the car has a 13,000 yuan discount, then say it has received the manufacturer's subsidy and a non-original 5,000 yuan subsidy. So it's 61,800 yuan now. Meanwhile, what did he take advantage of? He took advantage of the government subsidy, a discount of 20,000 yuan, bringing the price down to 41,800. The car is already registered, has an owner's name, and has received the manufacturer's subsidy. It's also insured. If you buy it plus the 3,400 yuan commercial insurance, you'd have it all. Compare this to the manufacturer's offer. A new car is 63,800 yuan after discount, not including registration fees or insurance. The zero-kilometer used car figure includes everything at 56,650 yuan. Isn't it cheap? In other words, the price difference between a new car and a zero-kilometer used car is approximately USD $3,000. Firstly, used car dealerships are offered more discounts. Secondly, when buying, they take advantage of the Chinese government subsidy of up to $3,000 for trade-ins. This is the BYD Qin PLUS DM-i that the blogger mentioned. In 2025, it became a hot-selling zero-kilometer used car model. The title of this video is 7,335 BYD Qin PLUS DM-i with 0 kilometers and all-inclusive license. If you compare, the price difference is basically 20,000 yuan, so if you open your mind, you can save money. After all, the total price is only a little over 50,000 yuan. If it has problems after 2 or 3 years, you can just sell it. You won't lose much money. I still recommend this car. The monthly sales of this car are actually quite good. Earlier, it was over 20,000 units per month, and now it's over 10,000 units, right? In the current economic downturn, Chinese people can't afford to buy houses, so the CCP is vigorously encouraging people to buy EVs. Therefore, it introduced the old for new subsidy policy, simply called national subsidy. Consumers who scrap their old cars and purchase eligible new EVs can receive a subsidy equal to 12% of the new car's sales price, around 1,000 yuan. The vehicle purchase tax is halved, with a minimum reduction of 15,000 yuan. The national subsidy and the halved vehicle purchase tax can be enjoyed simultaneously, resulting in a maximum savings of 35,000 yuan, or approximately 5,200 USD. Clever Chinese car dealers quickly saw the loophole in this policy. Used car dealers posed as ordinary consumers obtaining approximately $3,000 in government subsidies, allowing them to sell such new cars to customers at lower prices. Of course, for ordinary buyers, this doesn't seem like a bad thing. They would buy whichever car saved them money. These vehicles mostly bear new energy labels, and their prices are 15% to 30% lower than the same models sold in 4S dealerships, quickly making them market favorites. For example, the young man below is doing this business.
我们正好在8月18号的时候呢，帮咱们南京的一位兄弟
On August 18th, we helped a friend in Nanjing find a car with 0 kilometers on it. It's a Geely Qin, and we'd like to take this opportunity to share our experience with the 0 kilometer used car. Let's take a look at the car first. This is a 2025 Geely Qin Kunlun edition, the top-of-the-line 1.5T with a sports package. Look here, the whole car is brand new. Even these parts still have protective film. Top-of-the-line configuration, the whole car.
全车，然后咱们看一下内饰。
Next, let's look at the interior. The interior is a new car. These protective films haven't been removed yet. Then, let's look at the mileage. The car's infotainment system is Meizu's Flemmi Auto.
然后看一下公里数。
You can check it yourself to see what the top-of-the-line configuration includes. The mileage is here. It's run 40.08 kilometers, which can be considered new car condition. This mileage is usually due to the car being moved around in the warehouses. The car looks quite nice overall. The back seats, these protective films that haven't been removed yet. This blogger bought a 0 kilometer and is quite satisfied. You might ask, why do car manufacturers sell new cars to used car dealers at low prices? Because currently there are simply too many so-called new energy vehicles in China. According to a report by China Automotive News on August 3rd this year, 542 new car models were launched in the Chinese market from January to May, averaging 3.6 models per day. The sheer frequency and short cycles of new product launches prompted He Ziqi, executive vice president of BYD, to exclaim, "This is utterly insane. It's a car." It means the overall vehicle development cycle is being continuously compressed. In the era of gasoline-powered vehicles, the R&D and verification cycle for a new car is generally over 36 months, whereas many brands are now compressing it to around 18 months. At the 2026 China Automotive Forum in July this year, Li Fanggong, general manager of Beijing Hyundai Motor Company Limited, publicly criticized some brands for cutting necessary testing procedures to accelerate the launch process, effectively turning consumers into test drivers and creating safety hazards. Chinese automakers seem to have won in terms of speed of market entry, monthly sales figures, and storytelling in the capital market. However, all the hidden risks are ultimately borne by the car owners, making them like living test drivers. Despite diligent efforts by Chinese internet administrators to delete posts, numerous videos like this still circulate. Electric vehicles are catching fire in various Chinese cities. Look, an electric vehicle burst into flames after being rear-ended. The following car's dashcam captured the unbelievable moment of the explosion. And look at this Chinese electric vehicle that's always trying to park. The person filming was in an underground parking garage, his path blocked by a domestically produced electric vehicle. Because the car owner left, the car was in autonomous driving mode, endlessly reversing, and the program got stuck in a loop. Regarding the problem of spontaneous battery combustion, Chinese manufacturers have come up with a solution. If the battery overheats and gets out of control, the driver can eject it with a single button. What do you think? Official data show that from January to June, China's auto sales totaled 9.921 million units, down 21.1% year-on-year, indicating a downward trend. Among them, sales of new energy vehicles totaled 5.09 million units, down 13.4% year-on-year. In June alone, domestic sales reached 1.773 million vehicles, a year-on-year decrease of 23.3%. In the year of 2025, China's total automotive production capacity reached approximately 48.7 million vehicles, with actual sales of 26.938 million vehicles, resulting in a capacity utilization rate of only 59%, while a healthy industry level is 80 to 85%. This means that roughly half of the factories are operating below capacity or even idle. Among these, the traditional gasoline-powered vehicle sector suffers the most severe overcapacity, with utilization rates generally below 50%. Some joint venture brands such as SAIC GM and Hyundai have idle capacity rates exceeding 70%. The capacity utilization rate of China's EV sector is more differentiated. Leading companies like BYD are experiencing capacity shortages, but smaller companies generally have utilization rates below 40%, with the industry average around 60%. According to data from Shangqi Industry Connect, there are currently 102,000 surviving new energy vehicle companies nationwide. Among them, micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises accounted for over 98%, while large enterprises account for less than 2%. Currently, Chinese automakers are essentially caught in a bottomless price war and configuration war, with profits constantly being eroded. Meanwhile, the rebound in upstream raw material prices further squeezes costs, highlighting the predicament of automakers selling more, losing more. According to data released by the China Automobile Dealers Association as of the end of June this year, the comprehensive inventory coefficient of automobile dealers was 1.58, an increase of 11.3% year-on-year, remaining at a high level above the warning line. 76.9% of dealer stores failed to achieve their sales targets for the first half of the year, with nearly 40% achieving less than 70%. In June, the inventory warning index was 57.2%, remaining above the bottom bust line of 50% and indicating weak end-user demand. Chinese automakers face significant inventory and sales pressure. Therefore, to improve their sales figures, automakers often mortgage new cars to car dealers, 4S stores, or their affiliated financial institutions. These vehicles become used cars immediately after registration but before actual delivery. In fact, this is extremely detrimental to the market. The fabricated supply and demand relationship disrupts order, creating a gray market chain from production to consumption. It leads Chinese automakers to become obsessed with data prosperity, neglecting product quality and R&D investment, creating a vicious cycle where bad money drives out good. Furthermore, the influx of low-priced zero-mileage new cars into the market will squeeze the survival space of legitimate used and new cars. For traditional used car dealers, the vehicles they acquire, no matter how good their condition is, are difficult to compete with zero-kilometer, low-price cars. Therefore, in China, the price inversion between new and used cars disrupts the normal market price system. It can also lead to misjudgments for the central government when formulating industrial policies and allocating resources, as these data are heavily inflated, potentially resulting in flawed decision-making. On the one hand, Chinese automakers are engaging in price wars and cutthroat competition domestically. On the other hand, they have to seek overseas markets. These zero-kilometer used cars can receive a 13% VAT refund after export, leading to a large number of these vehicles leaving the country. This contrasts sharply with the sluggish domestic market. Chinese automakers are experiencing a surge in overseas exports. Official data shows that from January to June, China exported 5.096 million vehicles, a year-on-year increase of 65.3% to more than 210 countries and regions worldwide. New energy vehicles in particular saw cumulative exports reach 2.355 million units, a year-on-year increase of 120%. Brazil has surpassed traditional markets to become the largest destination for Chinese EV exports. Leading automakers like Chery, BYD, Geely, and SAIC have all seen significant increases in exports. For these brands, overseas sales now account for more than one-third of their total sales. Exports have become a lifeline for the Chinese auto industry. In other words, when the domestic market struggles to absorb its massive production capacity, overseas markets become crucial outlets for China's excess automotive production. Exports are no longer just a growth point for Chinese automakers to expand their markets. They have become a vital safety valve for alleviating domestic supply and demand imbalances and maintaining industry operations. The strategy of ultra-low prices has also been adopted overseas. Chinese auto exports are facing increased volume but not increased profits. Some automakers lack sufficient technological barriers and brand premium, and in order to seize market share, they blindly lower export prices, resulting in meager profits or even losses. Meanwhile, the zero-kilometer used cars and batteries in a shell have also crossed borders and spread overseas. A Shanghai-based individual involved in exporting zero-kilometer used cars told Chinese media that a large number of such cars have been exported overseas since 2023. He said, "If you went to Korgos a couple of years ago, you know how easy it was to do business then. New cars were registered domestically, and then, taking advantage of the personal car purchase incentives and low-price customer clearance policies of Central Asian countries, the cars were sold to Central Asia at a low cost. Some used Central Asia as a transit point to sell them to Russia. The profit margin is several times higher than domestic retail. Local distributors there often resold them under the guise of new cars, increasing the overall gross profit margin to over 15%. What is a battery in a shell? Because Chinese government refunds for complete vehicles are 13%, while for batteries are only 9%, A significant difference, some car manufacturers install batteries inside car shells, receiving the 13% tax refund as if exporting a complete vehicle. After being shipped to overseas warehouses, the batteries are taken out and used for other purposes. Power batteries can be used not only in new EVs but also in energy storage power stations. In 2021, the power battery installation rate in Chinese vehicles was 70%, but this figure dropped to 44% by 2025 and only 38% in May 2026. This indicates that over 60% of the power batteries produced in China are not installed in automobiles. A large number of AI data centers worldwide require stable power supplies and peak shaving valley filling, and energy storage is one of the most important components of this. On June 13th, Li Shufu, chairman of Geely Holding Group, publicly questioned the industry's export data at the 2026 China Automotive Chongqing Forum. He asked, "Where is there so much overseas demand for new energy vehicles? A large portion of exported products are either used by domestic used car dealers to transfer excess domestic production capacity through overseas ports, or are used to obtain the 13% export tax rebate, or are used as a front to absorb domestic battery production for overseas energy capital. The motives are all impure." It can be seen that the development path of China's automotive industry is similar to that of the home appliance, photovoltaic, and steel industries in the past. The domestic market is becoming increasingly saturated, companies continue to expand production, and ultimately rely heavily on exports to absorb excess capacity. In this process of dumping goods with state subsidies, the result is an influx of ultra-low-priced zero-kilometer used cars and batteries and shells, a cunning practice of the CCP's party culture. This hinders the development of related industries in the countries where these products are sold, preventing them from getting fair opportunities. Faced with the unstoppable momentum of Chinese EV overcapacity, relevant countries need to be more vigilant. At the end of this video, let's look at Huawei's newest model, the G9 off-road vehicle launch event in China. On the big screen, the G9 off-road vehicle traversed several mud pits, demonstrating its off-road capabilities. Chinese people noticed that after emerging from the mud pits, the vehicle was remarkably clean, without a single mud spot. Some netizens commented that this was treating consumers like fools. The Chinese people are no longer easily fooled, as should be the world. That's all for today. If you enjoy our content, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, leave a comment, or share it with a friend. We appreciate your support, and we'll see you next time.